Hey guys, it's John with Lehmans Outdoor Living, and today we are going to do our first product review / box opening on the YouTube channel. So this is something that I've wanted to do for a while now, is just review products I'm using, products I'm purchasing, do box openings, and just kind of try to help my audience and answer questions for products I use. So if there's a product that you want to see me review or talk about on this channel for this playlist, just comment below, hit me up on Instagram, and we'll try to get some of these products out of the way. So without further ado, the first product we are going to review today is a Coyote E-Caller that I picked up at Bass Pro. The E-Caller I decided to go with was the Lucky Duck Revolt. So the main reason that I decided to go with the Lucky Duck Revolt was the people that I hunt with, a couple of them have Fox Pros already, and so sometimes coyotes can be a little finicky. If they get used to a sound, you have to switch things up, or you use hand calls, mouth calls. So the guys I hunt with, they have Fox Pros, so that was one reason, just getting a different sound from the Lucky Duck. I also read a lot of reviews that said the sound on this is like one of the best and loudest that you can get. So those are my reasons. This is the Revolt Original. So this at Bass Pro is $629.99. That's Canadian for anyone watching from US. So at Bass Pro, this is $629.99. I ended up getting it on sale for $529.99, and I was able to get a little bit more off, had a gift card. So, to me, that was it's a higher end, reasonable price. The Revolt 2.0 is $899.99, and there was no sale at the time. So that's some information about why I went with this over the 2.0. And we'll get into some of the stats that I've looked up about the difference between the two. So, like I said, Lucky Duck Revolt. I'm not sponsored by anyone. I'm not sponsored by Fox Pro. I'm not sponsored by Lucky Duck. This is just what I bought, and I'm going to open this box with you guys, show you what's inside the box, and then my plans are this week to do a coyote hunt, use the product a couple times, and then come back and sit here with you and tell you what I found with the product and what I think about the product overall. So this should be a short YouTube. Hopefully you like it. Alright, so without making you guys wait any longer, let's get into this thing. With this collar, one nice thing I liked about it is it had the decoy on the top of the call. So that is built into this call, where some of my friends, like the Fox Pros, they have or not. So just dropping it all. So we got a remote. We have the unit itself. We have an antenna, it appears. This is the tripod, which we'll get to, and I'm not sure what this is. Oh, this is a piece that fits in the bottom for the tripod. Okay, so that's what's in the box. Okay, so call, remote, antenna, and this is for the tripod. So one thing I really liked about this call was it's on a tripod, or you can put it on, place it on a tripod, and you can actually rotate it 360 degrees as you're calling. So that was a cool perk. Now, one thing I will say about the 2.0, again, $899 versus this one that's $629, is the tripod itself looks on the box, and from the reviews, more robust. Some people complain about this tripod. It's fairly small metal, and some people complained about it breaking. So that was one of the things that was for sure upgraded with the 2.0. Both, like I said, you can move them 360 degrees, which I thought was really cool if you're set up somewhere where maybe you want to move the call. So yeah, on the side here, looks like you got, different buttons. You got 4 channels, and you got a volume and play button. There was lots of good reviews about how far this remote travels to the call, so I'm excited to try that out. Now, The one interesting thing, or I guess downside, is this runs off of 10 AA batteries, and the remote is off of, I believe, 2 or 3. You can buy a lithium battery and charger for these units. One of the reviews was it goes through quite a bit of batteries. So from what I've read, the 2.0 has the lithium battery with it. So cold Canadian winters where I'm at, you know, that might be something that may be of use for me. So yeah, we'll see when we get there how that is. So the other thing I should add here, and see, I'm opening this with you, so I have no clue, and so that's why this is interesting. So the decoy that I mentioned is actually in the unit, and there's a spot to hold it in the unit. So you'll see on this back that there's a rubber keeper, and this decoy fits in there so you don't have to carry it extra. The decoy then, the top of the handle, another rubber opens up and the decoy gets placed inside there. So, just like so. So now that decoy you can spin. The remote, I believe you can adjust the speed on the remote for that. And you can change the direction. It looks like it spins. So again, this is an unboxing where we're sitting right now. I opened this with you. It wasn't open before. I'm going to take this out and I'll sit back down here with you and complete the review. So yeah, so this just goes over a lot of battery installation and basically the instructions for the whole call. If we were in the field, you know, you'd have that magnet in. That thing is controllable. As I said, it can spin at 360 degrees. The call sets up as such with the antenna on the back, and then the decoy can go on top if that's what you needed. I'll take it out in the field and use it, and you'll hopefully see some good action with coyotes with this call. That's the unboxing. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments. And again, remember to like and subscribe to my channel. We're going to be doing more of this stuff. If you want to see something get reviewed or a box opening, something that I have or I'm going to purchase, just drop a line below and we'll get to that. All right, so we are out here, gonna go coyote hunting. This will be first time we test out the new call, so come along with us and let's see how the Lucky Duck does. There's another one in the bush. Hit him again. I guess it works. Like this piece cracked and came off the antenna. It still works, but fuck yeah! Got them both. Alright guys, so John back here with you. So as you've seen in this review so far, we did a box opening of the call, what came with it, my first impressions out of the box, and then from there I took this out on 2 coyote hunts, I believe now. We got a coyote the first stand that we did, and then the second time I went we actually doubled up with my kids. You'll see some footage here in between the two. So yeah, first impressions out of the box you already have. So how did this coyote call work, or how did I find it work? Well, out in the field. So for me, I'm new at coyote calling, so you know, to be successful with this while still trying to learn the techniques of actual calling, I was very impressed. So I'll start with the pros. The pros of this thing is it's very loud. It put the Fox Pro that we were using, although that one was a bit cheaper, it outdid it by far in the wind. It worked really well. The other thing I really liked about it is it's loud, and you can also rotate it. So from the remote control, you can hit these buttons and this thing will actually spin all the way around on this tripod. And you can spin it either direction, you can stop it from spinning. What I find that did, from my point of view, is it just sounded more realistic. It's not always one direction. If I would howl and move it one way, and it would do its calling sequence, and I would move the call to make it seem more realistic. So I really like that. I definitely use the decoy. The decoy tucks in here, you don't have to try to remember it. So that worked really well also. So yeah, those are my impressions. The sounds that are pre-uploaded on this were unreal. There's howls, there's breeding sequences, there's pup calls, there's different rabbit distress. I didn't get into anything that wasn't dog, but I seen raccoon, I seen cats. There's other calls that came with the SD card. So the SD card, everything was in. Turn it on, away we go. So those are kind of the pros. If I think of some more while we go here, I'll update those. The real big cons for me. So right off the hop, like not kidding you, the very, very first stand we walked out to with this call, I pulled the remote out of my pocket. So I put the remote in my pocket. This clip on the back, it's durable. So yeah, this clip on the back, to me, it feels tight, but it just doesn't feel super strong. So the last thing I want to do is have this thing clip somewhere while I'm walking and lose it in the snow. So I put this call in my pocket. Now, that shouldn't be an issue, and I'm gonna message Lucky Duck about this, but I'm not kidding you. When I got out to the call, that's what my call looked like. And I was a little rattled off the hop. So this antenna cover had busted off. I don't know if you can see that. I taped it with the glue, and it just busted off and cracked. And it, like, I hadn't even used it yet, and this came off. So I wasn't super impressed with that. It hasn't affected the call. Yeah, it worked fine. Everything was good, but like, it's a brand new call and it's a pretty expensive call. It's not like it's a couple $100. So that was my first, I guess, issue with the call. My second issue with the call, and I won't even say like issue, like I said, this still worked that way. The other thing I found is, first day, I want to say we went out for 2 to 3 hours, roughly. Obviously not calling the whole time. I would say we called maybe, yeah, if we called 45 minutes out of that, because there is a timer. And it was not crazy cold. It was minus 10 to 15 Celsius. And it gave me a warning on the remote that my call was dying. So we actually ended that day. That shocked me. It's 10 AA batteries, as we talked about earlier in the call. So easy to replace, but like, if we had continued calling that day, I was going to run it right out to see how long it would last, but that was a shocker to me. So really only 45 minutes and this thing was dying. I was doing everything with it. I was running the decoy in some calls, I was spinning it in some stands, and we were calling. But yeah, so just, you know, minus 10 to 15 degrees Celsius, 45 minutes roughly of calling, like constant calling on this, maybe a little less, and it was dead. So to me, I feel like it should last a little longer. So that was kind of a con. With that being said, the second time I went out, I did not change the batteries, and we were able to call in the coyotes that we shot that day without changing the batteries. So I still haven't changed the batteries. I don't know if that was partly they were getting cold that day and they just lost some power. So as I use this more, I will maybe update in the comments kind of how the battery power works moving forward. But I just want to get this review out. So those are kind of the two cons. This kind of busted, and the battery life didn't seem great, but you can buy the lithium batteries for this. So the tripod is a little weak. I haven't had any issues with it breaking. It's just a little bit, you know, it's not as, doesn't look as durable as the 2.0. All in all, my first coyote call. So I've been with a guy we've used Fox Pro. The Fox Pro we use does not spin. It does not have that capability. I would give it a 7 or 8 out of, probably an 8 out of 10. Like, it's doing its job, it's loud, it's getting the job done. We've killed 3 coyotes with it in like 2 afternoons, not even full days or full, like just going out and doing a few calls. So I would give it an 8 out of 10. If I get the lithium ion battery with it, maybe it'd be higher. But with that being said, if, you know, I haven't looked, I think it's a couple $100 or $150 for the lithium ion. So You know, if the 2.0 came with that, that might be something you want to consider, because, you know, if you can get the 2.0, the Revolt 2.0 on sale, it's the same price roughly as you would with this and the lithium. So that's my review. The other thing I was going to mention that's a pro is there's two kind of timers on this. So as soon as the call turns on and this connects with the call, it starts timing how long you've been on the stand. On top of that, you can go through the calls, and once you hit play on the bottom, there's also a timer on how long you've been using like that call sequence. And when you pause and restart it, it starts that bottom timer over again while continuing the top timer. So that was cool, just because sometimes you think you've been sitting for an hour and you haven't. Yeah, so if I think of anything else, I'll add it to this. Off the top of my head, that's what I got. So this call has worked really well for me. It's definitely not a cheaper call. Keep that in mind, but it's getting the job done, and those are kind of the pros and cons. So I hope you enjoyed this review. If you have any questions about this call, you can drop them in the comments, and I will be sure to get on there and answer the best that I can. And if you want to see anything else reviewed, just let me know.